Hello, this is Seth, and I'm coming at you here with just a quick web tutorial on how to use one of the most valuable tools that we have found out about over the past few years, and that is called Agent Pro 24/7. And I'm also going to show you how you can use some other supplemental mapping tools that can help you kind of accomplish the same purpose. It's just that Agent Pro is probably the most centralized, user-friendly way to do this. Now, basically, if you're in real estate, if you've either been in it for a while or if you're just starting, one of the things that you either know or you're about to figure out is that it is incredibly important when you get a real estate lead, say if it's in your state, in your city, even somewhere else in the country, one of the things that you just have to be able to do is to not only locate that property, but figure out what the dimensions and the size of that property are. And this is especially important when you're talking about vacant land investing. With houses, it's a little bit easier just because you can find a house and you kind of can figure out the dimensions that way. But with vacant land, there is nothing to tell you, where the property is, what the size is. And if you don't have the ability to really see a good parcel map, you're going to be hurting for information. So one of the tools here, again, is Agent Pro 24/7. I'm just going to quick sign in and show you a little example of how this works. Now, really what you're going to want to have in order to find anything on here is one or more of the following things. Either the person's name, and by the person I mean the actual entity that owns the property, whether that's a company or an individual, or you're going to want the address of that property location, the legal mailing address, or you're going to want the county parcel number. Some other things that might help would be, say, the owner's mailing address, wherever they live. And really, if you go to this drop-down list, you're going to kind of see the main points or the main items that you'll need to have. And again, the more of these you have, the better, because sometimes when, somebody will tell you their name and they may be wrong. I mean, maybe that exact name is not the exact legal name showing up on that parcel with the county. So, obviously, the more you can get of this, the better. But just, to start out with, let's say all we have is the person's name and we have nothing else. What I'm going to do here is basically use an example that I know of in a county that I'm familiar with, which is Kent County, Michigan. Just to start with, let's say the name, what we're looking for is everything in this county that's owned under the name Steelcase. And Steelcase is, one of the bigger companies in Kent County. They're an office furniture manufacturer, if you've never heard of them. But let's just check out and see what we can find under that name. And as you do that, you'll find this big list of things that shows up down here, where all of the properties with the owner name Steelcase are displayed. And also on here, you'll see these red push pins all over the place. That's where all those properties are actually located. What you're going to want to do next is kind of go down this list and see if you can find the one that you're looking for. I mean, ideally, if you'll have the address as well, you can see the name and the address and kind of put two and two together and say, yes, that is the one I'm trying to find. So just for example, let's say what I'm looking for is their headquarters, which is this right here, 901 44th Street. I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit and see if we can find it. And there it is. And now let's just pretend, for example, that this was a piece of vacant land, which it's not, but if it was, this would tell me exactly where the property boundaries are. You can see where the parcel lines are, and you can also see the ones around it. And you can even kind of see with these residential neighborhoods. I mean, these are, the measures and meets and bounds of these properties. So it's pretty important and valuable information just to be able to pull that up and find it easily and quickly in one place. And to be honest, outside of Agent Pro, there are other ways to do this, but none of them are terribly user-friendly. I'm just going to give you a quick example. Let's say, for example, whatever you're trying to find, it's just not showing up here in Agent Pro. Or let's say you didn't subscribe to Agent Pro at all, and you didn't even have the option of using this. The other thing you could do is basically Google the county name, which in this case is Kent County, and then the state, and then GIS. And GIS is basically the acronym for the online mapping service that some, but not all counties make available to the public. If the county does, you're usually in luck. If they don't, then other than getting an actual survey and paying hundreds of dollars to find that out, or trying to dig up the plat map somewhere and hoping that it's still accurate, other than those two options, you're kind of out of luck as far as finding exactly where it is and what the dimensions of that property are. So anyway, Kent County, we're lucky in this case because Kent County does have a GIS system. In this case, they nicknamed it the IMAP system. But it's basically, their own version of Agent Pro, but it's a little harder to use because you just see these icons and you kind of have to figure out what they all mean. In this case, what we can do, see, they don't even give us the option of typing in steel case here. We got to actually know the parcel number or the property address ahead of time. Since we happen to know it, we can just kind of look it up here. And there it is. And you can zoom in there. And there it is again, just in a different format. And Kent County actually has one of the better GIS systems out there. If you pick any county at random and try to find their GIS system, chances are you're going to find several of them have a similar type of thing, but they're much harder to use. You may not get nice satellite maps like this. It might just be blank, and all you can see is the roads and the property lines. So going back to Agent Pro again, it really is a luxury to have this system and use it. And this is really just one of the many, many, many uses for Agent Pro. Just to show you another example, say if I want to see a bird's eye view, which is kind of like a helicopter view, this allows me to see that, which offers a much better perspective for the property. You can even kind of tell what the surrounding area is like. I mean, let's say we want to go and look at one of these houses in this neighborhood. I mean, just from this, you can kind of tell, pretty nice neighborhood around there, not too bad. Nice, upper middle class area. You can see all the street names, all of that. And again, going back to the aerial view, you can see the parcel lines and everything. It's really an awesome system. So when it comes down to the purpose of finding where a property is located and understanding what the property lines and where they're at and how big it is and all that, it's invaluable to have this kind of information. If you don't use Agent Pro, I'd strongly recommend it. The cost, we actually have a discount you can use if you want to use our affiliate code, and there's more details on that right here below this video. Or if you go to our website, with our affiliate code, you can get a small discount on the monthly subscription. And believe me, it is absolutely worth the price. It's actually probably worth 3 times that price just for how easy and convenient they make this information. I know back when I first started this, I didn't have access to it, and it was significantly more work to find this kind of basic information. And again, if you didn't have the owner name, but you just had the mailing address, I mean, there's other ways of doing it that way too. And really, you can just type in any county in the country here in this box, and it'll show you how to do it. So there's just a quick overview of how to find the locations and the dimensions of each property. And just one other note on that. If you're ever looking for property that's in a very remote area, or say in a county that is, I guess, doesn't have a big budget, a lot of times those counties won't have a system like this. And if you're trying to find the actual location or dimensions of a property there, you're frankly kind of out of luck, unless you want to either pay a surveyor to go out there and do a survey and put stakes in all 4 corners and you can really find out where it's at, or if you can find some really old plat maps of the county and hope that they're still accurate. I mean, those are really your only other 2 options in those particular counties. I come across them occasionally. It's not a common thing, but they're definitely still out there, and there's a lot of places that still don't have this kind of convenient online data available to use. So just keep that in mind. Typically, in my case, unless it is clearly a really, really, really good deal, I actually typically pass on those just because I can't find the information that I need to get the deal done. I'm not going to buy a property if I don't know exactly how big it is and where it starts and stops and what's next to it and what's across the street from it and all that stuff. So, again, this is knowing what you're dealing with in any particular property is just a very important thing to have. And if you don't have that, then I frankly recommend passing on it unless you can get that information. I mean, if you don't, it's almost the same as buying a house sight unseen. I mean, it may be worth it if the deal's good enough, but most of the time you're going to want to actually understand what you're paying all this money for. So anyway, that is all. Again, just one of the many things you can do with Agent Pro. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful.
So as you can see, Agent Pro is a pretty helpful tool, especially for real estate investors. It's got a lot of helpful tools and features and things like that within it that, you can pull lists, you can research properties, you can find the location, you can get parcels and all that stuff. I mean, obviously, it's a pretty nice thing to have in your tool belt. So if this is something you want to check out further, there's a couple ways you can do it. First of all, if you want to just give it a shot for, I don't know, a week or so, I'm not sure how long the free trial lasts, but there is a free trial. You can go right down here and click on this and just sort of follow the prompts and do what it tells you to do to set it up. And on the other hand, if you've kind of seen what this thing can do and you're pretty sure you want to subscribe to it, all you got to do is go up here to sign up now. And one little trick about this that not many people know, there's actually a partner ID code that you can enter in here. And what it is it's capital CFGRSH. And I want you to pay attention to all these numbers once you click update. Because once you do, it's basically going to take 10% off the monthly recurring cost. So this is not just a one-time savings. This is every single month you're going to be saving this. So kind of a nice little trick to know. But just so you know, the particular subscription that I use is right here. It's the bronze subscription for 18 bucks a month. And with this particular subscription, you get to pull 2,000 records a month. And what they're referring to there is your lists that you want to pull. And that's quite a few. I know 2,000 records is way more than I ever need to mail out every single month. So there are some more expensive subscriptions you can get. And I know some people who do them and they actually think it's worth it. Personally, I don't think I really need it. But say if you want to get properties that have mortgages from 10 years ago or really get specific data like that, if that's what you want to do, then I'd probably encourage you to check out the silver or gold or platinum subscriptions. But just so you know, for what I do, this cheapest plan here, the bronze, is plenty for me. Hit next, go next again, and then you hit next again. And right here, you're just going to want to fill in all your basic information. And just one thing I want to draw your attention to, right here at the bottom it says real estate license. You don't actually have to be a real estate agent to use this. I'm not sure why it's in there, but for whatever reason they made it a required field. So all you got to do is hit capital N-A to fill that in, or you can just type in 123 or whatever you want. But really, they're going to ask for something, so just put something in there so that it will allow you to move on. And once you've got the rest of the stuff filled out, you can just continue on and follow the prompts and make your first month's payment and see how it works for you. So anyway, hopefully that all makes sense to you. If you got any questions, let me know. And again, I can just tell you, I've used this service for a number of years now, and it's just been awesome. It has been immensely helpful to me in all of the things that I have to do in my business. So good luck, have fun, and I wish you all the best in finding some deals out there.